Hi, I'm Brian Crombie, and we're going to be talking on The Brian Crombie Show. We're going to be talking about politics, arts, business, and social issues on The Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. Good evening and welcome to the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. I have the privilege once a week of bringing you interesting people, and I've had Anna Cyzon on the show before to talk to you about her performance, but I wanted to bring her back because she recently posted some fascinating posts on social media about taking some time off and being on her own silently at a meditation retreat for a full, it was 10 days. And so I wanted to, given all the strange stuff that's been going on with us in our society recently, come back and talk to Anna about why she would do that and what it accomplished for her, and frankly ask whether we should all be thinking about doing something. So Anna, thanks for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for dragging me out of my house and giving me a reason to be out, even though everything my body's like stay in. But thank you. I appreciate that. And if I can be of service to humanity, anyone watching tonight, today, yes, it's so important to go inward. It's so important to take that time.
So tell me what you did. So you were going through some tough times. You told me before that you had gone through a breakup and you needed some time for yourself, and you went for 10 days and you were silent for a full 10 days?
Yes. Well, the first time I went to is called Vipassana or Vipassana, I think, truer to the Pali dialect. It's a 10-day meditation retreat. There are centers all over the world. In Ontario, we're fortunate to have one in Egbert, which is not too far from, depending where you are, Toronto, Mississauga, give and take about an hour or so. You go in as a new student, you check in your phone, you make a vow of silence, you abide by the 5 precepts, which are pretty straightforward. No, killing, so you're eating vegetarian food. No lying, henceforth the noble speech or noble silence. So, because sometimes we speak and we say untruths. Refraining from using any intoxicants, so no alcohol, no cigarettes, drugs, whatever your poison. So you are really in a very much.
That's only 3.
That's only 3. I know, I'm trying so hard to remember the other 2. No lying, no killing, refraining from intoxicants. Oh my God, I'm such a bad Dhamma sister.
Doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, I'll when I post this video, once there's a link to it, I will
figure out the other
2 precepts. Okay. Yes.
And you went to this place, and you're seriously quiet for 2 weeks.
Well, it's 10 days, yes.
10 days.
You take a vow of silence for 10 days, and then you meditate. You meditate mandatory 3 hours a day in a group sitting, and then you're instructed to meditate also on your own in your room. Whether you do that or not. The first time I went, because I did the retreat in 2015, the first time I went, I would not wake up until like 6:30, stroll into breakfast and sleep in my room where I was supposed to be meditating on my downtime. So I was writing when I wasn't supposed to be. So I broke a lot of rules. I think as an artist, just naturally, I had a lot of ideas, lots of creativity flowing through me, naturally not having my phone and being able to talk to anyone. The second time I went, it wasn't much different. I was still writing. The second time I went was in June of 2019, post some personal things happening in my life, and but I was still writing. I was definitely taking it a little bit more serious, where I was meditating in the time where, the first time I went, I was sleeping and was lazy. And then when I returned back in January off the top of 220, and I came back to serve, because you can do that as an old student, to help in the kitchen, to prepare the food, to, help the new students that are taking their first step on this path, this noble path we call of Dhamma, that I took it a lot more seriously, and it wasn't about me. It wasn't what I was getting from it. It wasn't about what was coming up for me in the meditations and what my monkey brain was obsessing about. It was how I could be of service to these people who are taking this step and who want to free themselves from suffering, who want to better their lives. And so even though I was getting fulfillment from helping, that wasn't the reason and the purpose why I had gone. And that's what made it so fulfilling.
And for anyone watching, Anna is an unbelievably good performer. You perform on stages with hundreds of people or thousands of people at different festivals. And when you're on stage, you command presence. You're up front and center on the stage. That doesn't seem consistent with me with the type of person that would want to take time where they were quiet meditating and or serving other people in the kitchen. Why did you want to do that?
That's exactly why I did it, because I think for starters, I needed to put my ego in check. I needed to teach myself a bit about humility and how to be humble. And I think my biggest problem has been reacting. So situations, circumstances, things, people that I feel, hurt me. Mostly, things that people do that I have felt, my closest ones, my loved ones, that they were against me, or their actions were against me, or something that they had said that was hurtful to me. My reactions were not congruent with what was actually happening. So right. I think that was the first time I went to Vipassana in 2015, was to really go in and be like, why am I reacting this way? What's going on? Why am I so upset? What are all these defilements in my mind? Because Vipassana is really, it's like an operation of your mind to take out the defilements at their root cause. So it's like,
sorry, what do you mean defilements?
Defilements, the impurities in your mind, the
bad thoughts, the
bad habits, right? The impulses to react, the things that happen to us in a lifespan that are traumatic experiences. That in Pali the word is sankhara. So right. We accumulate these traumas, these bad things, and we hold on to it. And in your lifespan, if you have all these slew of bad things, unwanted things that have happened to you, and wanted things that have not happened to you, and then your impulses to react, the mind's impulses to react with the history of all that bad habit and that pattern, that trauma, that pain. So Vipassana is really it's peeling those layers of those onions. It's going at the deepest root level of your mind to take out those impurities, to do the work. And it does require a 10-day course and hours upon hours of meditation for you to really, they use this beautiful analogy in Buddhism where you can do damage that is a line in a sand, and the water washes it away. And then sometimes the damage, the sankhara is as deep as a line in a stone. And in this lifetime, you won't be able to eradicate that, but you can still take preventative measures from making that worse. So that's why I think that experience to me is just beautiful, because whether your habit patterns are the line in the sand or the line in the rock, it's just a matter of reacting more and creating more damage in your life and more suffering and more pain, and getting yourself to a place of peace and a place of liberation from suffering, which again, it goes back to Buddhism, even though it's non-secular and not imposing of any religion or God or deity of any sorts. It really is just universal law. It's just observing yourself, observing your patterns of reacting, also allowing things of the past to come up, allowing yourself to sit with pain and suffering, allowing it to pass, and having that direct experience of the truth, of understanding that everything that you do feel, and your mind, how it operates in the past, or projecting into the future of something that hasn't yet happened, and worrying about that, or being attached to something that has happened that is no longer.
Okay, so theoretically this sounds really good, but you had just gone through a breakup, and you went on this session. Did you come back different? Did you deal with your challenges more differently?
The change doesn't happen overnight. So in theory, yes, I can sit here and talk to you for hours about Vipassana and the theory and the philosophy, and we can delve into Buddhism and what have you, but until you have the direct experience of that, which is the part that requires you to sit in meditation, and whether you do 1 course, 2 or 3, or I've met some old students at the retreat center that have done it 6 times, or maybe even sat 20-day courses or 30-day courses, because as an old student you can come back and stay longer. I think everybody's path is different, and your middle ground will be much different than someone who decides to robe and be a monk, or someone who goes to Vipassana and doesn't take anything out of it and just was like, what the hell was this? This isn't for me. So for my own personal experience, I think it's a seed that gets planted and reinforced, a seed of awareness, a seed of equanimity.
So not everyone's going to do this.
Not everyone is going to know.
Given your experience, I guess what you're suggesting is some sort of meditation or some sort of prayer or some sort of quiet time is very helpful.
Some sort of knowledge of yourself, of the time that you take, hopefully daily. If not, for me, Vipassana, I would love for it to be a once in a year that I go and I do this retreat. 10 days out of my life is nothing in the grander scheme of things. And on a daily practice, as an old student now and having served a course also, I would love to find ideally 2 hours in the day, one in the morning and one in the evening to sit in meditation. But life happens, and sometimes you have a drink in the evening or you go out and you don't find that time. And
Right.
even if you do, you're not in a pure state of mind after 2 glasses of wine to sit down. And you're also breaking your Shila, your morality, which is one of the 5 precepts that you should abstain from intoxicants. So it's a very righteous, noble path to walk, and it's very hard to do that in a non-controlled environment where all those temptations
Challenges of daily life. Well,
Of course.
this is a fascinating conversation with Anna Cyzon about meditation. We're going to take a break and come back with more about how we can apply it to our daily life. Stay with us.
Buying or selling a residential or commercial property is one of the biggest financial decisions most people will make in their life. The real estate lawyers at Alum Law Chambers will guide you through the complete real estate laws to ensure your transaction completes on time and your dreams come true. Reliable and affordable. Alum Law.
Worked very hard to build this business. Now, how can I protect it from creditors and minimize estate taxes?
My family depends on my income. What if critical illness, disability, or premature death happens to me? How will they survive?
For over 18 years, Zahid Syed of Arush Financial has been giving business owners and professionals sound advice on tax reduction, life and health insurance, and estate planning strategies.
Act now, I can help.
आलमी तिजारत का नया मरकज गवादर का बायतमाद इदारा न्यू विजन ग्रुप आपको दे मुस्तकबिल की कीमती सरमायाकारी का सुनहरी मौका। अमेरिका और कनाडा में रहते हुए सरमायाकारी और भी आसान। गवादर मास्टर प्लान की अहम और कीमती लोकेशन। गवादर की मरकजी शहरा और 0 पॉइंट पर वाक़या साहिल समंदर से करीब तरीन 100, 200, 300 गज के रिहायशी तिजारती प्लॉट, 1 एकड़ 2 एकड़ के इंडस्ट्रियल प्लॉट्स, निहायत मुनासिब कीमत और महाना आसानी के साथ में अभी अपने प्लॉट बुक करवाएं। मजीद मालूमात के लिए राब्ता फरमाएं।
एयर विंग्स ट्रैवल एंड टूर्स नॉर्थ अमेरिका की सबसे बाएतमाद और फास्टेस्ट एयर ट्रैवल सर्विसेज। 25 साल का तजर्बा लिए लातादाद अफोर्डेबल ट्रैवल डील्स के साथ एक्सीलेंस इन कस्टमर सर्विसेज ऑन जस्ट 1 फोन कॉल। ये है एयर विंग्स ट्रैवल एंड टूर्स। फॉर बुकिंग कॉल नाउ 1855-247-9464 और 905-272-2300। एयर विंग्स ट्रैवल एंड टूर्स।
अगर आपका कोई भी कार एक्सीडेंट होता है तो आपको एक बेहतरीन लॉयर की ज़रूरत होती है और हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं चैंपियन डेविड हिमोफार्ब।
Hi, I'm David Himmelfarb, managing partner of Himmelfarb Brzezinski LLP. We are personal injury lawyers in Toronto, Brampton, all over the GTA. And we speak your language. We have a wonderful community liaison, Anjum Qureshi.
आपका कोई भी कार एक्सीडेंट होता है हमें कॉल करें 416-570-0157.
Hi, I'm Brian Crombie, and we're going to be talking on the Brian Crombie Show. We're going to be talking about politics, arts, business, and social issues on the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. Welcome back to the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. We're having a chat with Anna Cyzon, who's a artist performer. You can see her at Sophia down in Yorkville, or the Poetry Jazz Cafe, at the Roncesvalles Festival, and I'm used to seeing her up front on stage performing with my favorite song. What's that? Wild
Wicked Games.
Wicked Games. But what we're talking about tonight is meditation, and one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you, Anna, is in the last couple of weeks, with the coronavirus, we've been all told to stay home, and some people are finding that difficult, and I think some people are finding it wonderful and are reconnecting with who they are and their families and quiet times, and yes, we're probably all watching the news and updates way too often, but it's probably also helpful having some time to be quiet and meditate. What do you think?
It is not only helpful, this is such a beautiful gift in disguise if we actually see the silver lining in COVID-19. It's a chance to go inward, it's a chance to stay home, it's a chance to disconnect, to unplug, and if you are going to connect to your family, connect to your relatives that you haven't had time to FaceTime with, or read that book, turn your phone on airplane an hour before you go to sleep, keep it off. Turn it on an hour or two later before you wake up and have your coffee. Like, take that time for personal growth, for connecting to the collective consciousness, this higher frequency that is love, that is not passionate, possessive, jealous love, but compassionate love, and that really is Vipassana.
What do you mean by not jealous, passionate love?
Well, metta in Pali is loving kindness for all human beings, and the kind of love that one of my teachers, let's say the guru of Vipassana, Goenka, or at least who brought Vipassana here to North America, he always says at the end of every meditation, may all beings be happy. And the last part of Vipassana, so the first part of it is Anapana, which is just the observation of your breath. On the fourth day, you do the observation of sensations on the full body. And the last day of Vipassana is actually the Metta day, and Metta is loving kindness. It's exuding compassionate love for your
everybody.
neighbor. Yes, so not the jealous love, the which we fall. All of us have experienced that, the romantic love, which comes with conditions. You do this for me, I do that for you. Like, that's not how love. That's not what love is. Love is forgiveness. Love is kindness. Love is empathy.
Is it?
I think. I mean, I'm speaking like Mother Teresa. Like, I'm going to walk out of here and someone's going to cut me off and I'm going to flip them the finger. Like, I'm human. I'm going to err. But
so you went through this experience. Do you have unconditional love and kindness for humanity?
I have the awareness of the thought, of the theory of what I feel, or I now believe love to be, and my work in this lifetime is to walk that path, is to be that, is to encompass it. So when I forget...
Do you think you can achieve it?
It's my duty in this life to correct myself as a human being to the day that I take my last breath, to do the work to be that best version of myself with the awareness and the knowledge I have, whether I will get there.
I had a really tough time because just a short while ago, and I told you about this earlier tonight, my best friend passed away. And he was a best friend for 40 years. Thank you. A wonderful guy. His name was Steve Cox. And I befriended him 40 years ago, and we were the best friends. We talked several times a day. We went out several times a week. We consulted each other on all the important things in life. And he was unconditional love.
Yes.
when he disagreed with things I was doing, he would tell me. We would talk about it, but it didn't remove his love. And I've never had that, other than with my dog Adonis maybe. I've never had that with another person my whole life.
Or another
Everyone
woman.
else has been conditional in their love. If you do this, I'm going to take my love away. Or if you don't do this, I'm going to not provide my love. What is love? Is it unconditional love, or is
Absolutely.
or is it conditional love? When you think about a lot of relationships, it's very conditional. You told me earlier about things that your partner did that you didn't like, and you removed your love. That's not unconditional love. That's not love and
No, it's
kindness.
not.
What is that? If it's not love, what is it?
Well, and this is why I love Vipassana or any type of meditation, whatever you practice, because it's that part of you connecting to that higher frequency, that love of what it should be, of what I think in this lifetime we aspire to attain, the one that is forgiving, the one that understands, that is compassionate, that listens. I think
compassionate, understands, listens.
Forgives, yeah. Unfortunately, what happens, I think, between men and women, or men and men, women and women, in relationships where you throw in intimacy and you throw in passion, and if I am to relate this at all to Buddhism, to Vipassana, the mind thinks in terms of craving. So when we meet someone and we have a physical attraction, that's not really love, right? It's just, it's a chemical. It's something that we feel that the sensation is pleasant, and that our mind ends up craving more and more of.
And wants to possess.
And wants to possess and wants to control, but love is actually the exact opposite of that. So, do we get to a place in our lifetime? I think it'll be different for everyone. But again, once we start to have the awareness of this, and I can talk about it again for hours on many episodes, but until we start to get a taste of it in our own individual experience of having our own direct experience of the truth of that, then we really can't feel that. And if we can't feel that, and I'm sure everyone has had like a moment of bliss where, something like in this, for instance, pandemic, leaving, getting extra grocery and leaving it downstairs in the lobby of your condo or something for someone else. It's these little small acts of kindness where we don't want anything in return. It's going back to serve as an old student in Vipassana and not getting any monetary gain from it.
Just doing it.
Just doing it. And that is that place of connecting to.
So if we're all forced to take a couple of weeks and spend it at home, how can we actually think about this and experience it?
I think we need to start by thinking how lucky we really are to be here, to be alive and breathing, like that is the lottery ticket, and how we take that for granted, and how we are so easily in this mindset of, I don't have enough, right? Lack, like that there won't be enough for me, greed, abusing, overusing the earth's abundance, these resources that really are limitless, that are at our fingertips, but they're not. And this is nature's way of saying, time out. Like, don't idle your car when you're, picking someone up and that person comes into your passenger seat and you're having a 5-minute conversation. Don't run your water while you're washing your hands or you're brushing your teeth and you're not using it, right? It's like not taking for granted these things that we do in our daily lives, like not taking people for granted that we love, our family or our closest friends, because every day might bring something new, and we are living in a time where the universe is showing us that.
But it's a lot more than that, and I agree completely, that's the gratitude, but it's a lot more than that when you talk about listening and understanding and compassion. And those are things we talk about flippantly, but to actually focus on that at a meditation and think about loving unconditionally. What a beautiful idea.
It is incredible. And I think we get caught up in everyday life because we get so much distractions. We have so many options. Everything is like a swipe left, right culture. Everything is delivered at your door. It's so important to disconnect. When I come back from Vipassana, the first thing that I see are plants and animals. That's the things that I connect to, because all the phones and the distraction and the technology and the chatter, everything is removed. So if you can give yourself that gift and if you can't commit to 10 days, per year or once in your lifetime, then start by 5 minutes or 10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Where you don't wake up and you go straight to your Facebook or your email notifications or whatever it is. Like, close your eyes and connect to the infinite source and frequency and energy that is the universe, that is this oneness, this collective consciousness that we all are. And we don't give ourselves the time every day, not a minute, not 2, not 5, to do that. And sometimes it's just, again, closing your eyes and just feeling these subatomical particles, these particles of energies, these vibrations, these like, how many times a day do you actually feel sensation on your body? When you're having sex, when you're eating, but these are all things that you're ingesting.
These are things that during meditation you focus on.
Can you remove everything? Can you remove another person? Can you remove food? Can you remove anything that is outside of you externally that brings you pleasure? And can you just sit with yourself and find bliss? And I think that's what meditation is for me. Can you find happiness within? Can you connect to a place of gratitude, love, and then encompass that and be that, not only in that second of bliss, of nirvana, of liberation, whatever you want to call it, but even if you do experience that 1 second in your meditation, if you can employ that in your life in one incident, one day, and encompass that, be that, even if you fall off track and life gets the best of you, and again, someone cuts you off when you're driving or whatever it is, you get into an argument with your significant other, but always go back to that seed.
Find it out.
Yeah, that's planted there. That's your seed of awareness, and then the rest is the work of committing and dedicating yourself to walking that path. Again, we call that in Vipassana the noble path, the path of Dhamma, which is just being in alignment with universal law, with nature, being aware, turning off the water tap when you're washing your hands, right? Not idling your car. Just taking these small, tiny little steps to...
Anna Cyzon, an incredible performer. Thank you so much for coming on my show tonight. I really appreciate it. And the reason why I really wanted to bring Anna on, because I think we are going through tough times, and she is this bigger-than-life performer out on front on stage, and if anyone can take that quiet time, Anna does it, then all of us can do it. And I don't meditate. I've tried it. It hasn't worked out for me. But I do sit quietly on my deck with a cup of coffee, watch the ocean. I do take walks in the park. I do like to go to the meadow. I pray every day. And whatever it is for you that works, find your own time to be quiet with yourself and contemplate what you can be grateful for, and think about this unconditional love that we talked about. Grateful, kindness, love, unconditionally. Think about it. Thanks very much for joining us. Good night.